All right, Pisces, welcome back. This is just going to be a 4-element tarot spread. This is just going to kind of help give some more clarification based off that last reading I did, the planetary spread, which was your monthly spread that I did for you. And hopefully if you put the two together, they'll be very helpful. And it is a general reading, so it may or may not resonate with you. Please let me know if it does. But let's begin this reading. This one has 9 cards, so it's a little bit longer. So I'm going to try to make it quick. Our first card is the Where Are You Now card. Okay, so here we have the 7 of Pentacles. And basically this states that you're kind of in a phase of reflection, patience, and evaluation. You might be pausing to look at what you've invested your time, energy, or love into and wondering whether it's paying off. So there's a sense of, should I keep waiting for this to grow, or is it time to plant something new kind of mentality, okay? This is a quiet, but it's an important checkpoint. You're not stuck, you're just in review mode. And that's kind of like a powerful place to be. Our next card is going to be what your strength is. Okay, so here we have the Devil in reverse. So basically what this card is saying is you have the strength to release those toxic patterns, the dependency or attachments that once kind of held you back, Pisces. So this could be a mindset, relationship, addiction, or inner critic. You're in a place where you're learning to say no to what keeps you small. The fact that this is in reverse is liberating. It shows the ability for you to reclaim your power. Even if you slip into old habits now and then, you're really going to start seeing like what's not serving you anymore. So that's a really good start, okay, Pisces? But let's see what your weakness is. Okay, so here we have the Death in reverse. So basically, Pisces, this is saying, I'm not going to be able to get all 3 cards in, but just so you can kind of get a general idea. This is basically saying that despite your strength in letting go, there's still a resistance to a major transformation here. You might be kind of afraid of what full change would actually require, or grieving the ending of something familiar, even if it no longer fits you. So the fact that the Death is in reverse, it's saying you know it needs to end, but you're delaying it. So that fear of the unknown or clinging to comfort's really blocking your full rebirth. Because that's what the Death card really signifies. I know a lot of people don't like seeing that with the Devil, but it is really, these are good cards in these placements, okay? You just kind of got to let that go, even if it's hard. So where's your mindset? So here we have the 7 of Swords in reverse. So basically this is saying that your mind has really is like starting to come to terms with truths you've been trying to avoid. So this is either about yourself or about others. This card is really all about like exposure and self-reflection. So you might be kind of confronting your like inner sabotage, some past deception, or secrets that no longer stay hidden. It's uncomfortable, right? But it's healing. So sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to get that healing aspect out of it. So there's an urge here to clean up that mental slate and to be more honest, especially within yourself. So that's your mindset. Where's your passion? Okay, so here we have the 4 of Swords in reverse. And this is basically saying, oh, hang on, the cards just want them to overlap just slightly so I can fit everything in here. Is that you're really tired of that conflict and the chaos and the zero-sum dynamics. The passion's really feeling muted. And it's not because it's gone, but it's because you've been burned by battles that weren't worth winning. So now you're trying to find that motivation through peace, not conflict. So there might be healing needed around the idea that fighting equals proving your worth. But your passion really just wants like a new language here. Okay. So let's move on with where you're at in your career and finances. All right, so this is the Six of Cups in reverse. So basically this is saying that you might be reflecting on the past with nostalgia, okay? So, or you're even stuck kind of with an old identity or a dream that no longer kind of matches where you're heading. So financially, there could be that need to let go of the way things used to be, especially if you're idealizing the past. So it's really time to start, time to like think more forward, okay? So don't let your childhood patterns or past experiences define your potential for now, okay? Because, you know, we all learn and grow as we move on in life, so. Our next card is going to be our emotions and relationships card. So let's see, we have the Page of Swords in reverse. And this card is saying there's emotional immaturity or miscommunication here. So this is either from you or someone you're dealing with. This could look like a passive aggressiveness, maybe some spying or hesitation, or overthinking without action. So you might be feeling like emotionally guarded, curious, but suspicious, or kind of unsure on how to express your truth without being misunderstood. So this calls for a clearer, more courageous communication, okay? So let's move on to where you're coming from. So here we have the Two of Swords in reverse. So this kind of just says that you've kind of moved out of a long period of emotional denial, some indecision or some numbing. You've been avoiding a choice, but now you're starting to kind of open up your eyes to reality, even if it's painful, okay? There's a slow thaw happening. Clarity is rising, and you're finally looking at what you've been afraid to feel or decide on. So that's where you're coming from. Where are you going? That's kind of the most important part of this. So here we have the Page of Pentacles. So you're really, this is a great card here, Pisces, because you're really heading toward a fresh, grounded beginning. Okay, you gotta let it happen. But if you do, it's there. You know, like it's really there within your reach. You just have to take it. So this is especially in practical matters like your health, your work, money, or education. This is kind of given like student energy, right? Like you're open-minded, curious, and really willing to build something new from the ground up. It's a really good sign, okay? So after all that emotional and mental clearing, you're really planting those seeds again, and this really shows like growth and hope, even if it starts small, okay? Because this is an elemental reading, let's kind of go over the elements and what they mean for you in this spread. So we have the air, which is the mind. You're really waking up from illusions or self-deception here, but still learning how to communicate clearly and confront your truths directly. Your water, which is your emotions. There's emotional detachment from the past is really underway, okay? So the healing is happening through release, not rumination, all right? And then your fire, which is your passion kind of feels numb by past conflict and resistance to change. So to reignite your fire, you need to let go of needing to win or avoid endings. So your earth is basically saying here that this journey is about steady growth, even if it feels slow right now. You're really kind of being guided to something more solid and real. So basically the final thoughts for this, now that we have all the cards here, is this is a deep transitional space for you. You kind of have one foot in the past and one reaching towards something more stable and honest. These hard truths that you're uncovering about yourself or your situation really are leading to that rebirth here, even if you're not feeling ready yet. This season's small, but it is powerful beginnings for you, Pisces. So overall, I'm really liking what I see here for you. And once again, it's a general reading, so I do hope that this helps you. And let me know if you need clarification. So best of luck, Pisces. Until next time.